feel happy. Patrick may be too young for this. 90s and 2000 nostalgia headlines. Gen Z is hanging out at the mall, re-energizing the industry. Hacky Sack, my wife told me about this last night. Hacky Sack is mounting a comeback with Gen Z. Chronicles of the 90s, cool, how to dress like John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. I don't actually have a point to showing you all of that. I just really enjoy this moment.
Like, you just want us to feel old.
If there was like a cultural trivia game about 90s, I feel like this panel would crush.
May of 1999 may have been the peak of society because you know what came out then?
What?
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yes.
It's the most trash Star Wars movie ever. We talk about this all the time,
we're not doing it, Elliot. Do not take that bait. I want to ask, though, about the issue of AI. Hard pivot. What's interesting about it, when you talk to both on the company side, of which there's like 6, that really, really matter, one of whom was traveling with the president in China, but also on the economist side, it's a lot of what could happen, both on the technological side, but also in the workforce side of things. There's not a lot of good evidence right now that there have been mass layoffs or jobs not being offered that I've seen in the data. What is the future on this?
Well, it's unknown. But what we do know is the internet bubble of '99 undershot the opportunity that the internet would create over a decade. Undershot, even though there was a bubble in '99. What we see now is a massive build, but instead of using debt or the capital markets to do that, these companies are using their balance sheet. And most of the hyperscalers globally are in the United States. The policy thing here in Washington, though, was the shift from the Biden diffusion rule to say that the White House was going to stand there and say approve LLM models in their deployment in society, to President Trump saying, have at it. And that decision has enabled a mass build out in data centers, a mass build out in these technology companies deploying AI, and us being the global leader in AI. The ramifications, though, are real, though. The question is, can we build up energy capacity enough that we can maintain pace? Currently, the evidence of rising energy prices is not actually connected with the deployment of data centers, although mentally, with the voters, it is. Number one. And number two, chips. The question of chips is a real one because these chips, these higher end chips, are taking away from the average everyday things that consumers use and driving up the cost of those things. It is a complex market. In the United States, AI is not as popular as in the rest of the first world or second world. And that is a direct result of people being fearful of their jobs and the consequences of this new technology. A lot to be seen politically and economically in this topic.
That's the big difference between 1999 and now, other than both years are years in which the New York Yankees will have won a world championship. But more importantly, in 1999, there was the promise that jobs will be created by the internet. We need programmers, we need coders, new skills that people can learn, and everybody's going to be okay. Now there is a prevailing fear, and you saw this in that graduation speech, that people's jobs are going to be taken away. Now, that maybe it'll materialize, maybe it won't, but just that fear is something that this whole country, the world, needs to contend with, and it hasn't.
Yeah, and on the fear piece of this is, I think, the first presidential election where you're going to need to have candidates putting forward real policy solutions about what they're going to do about people's jobs. It is not only a fear everywhere, and I was chuckling at that graduation speech because, yes, they should be worried. At the same time, are they using AI when it comes to their classes and other day-to-day lives?
If they want to work in the future, they better.
They definitely are, right? And so many of us are already benefiting from AI. But I think the question of the workforce and the environment and energy prices and all of these things will be interesting to see, given that this will be the first time that our presidential candidates will have to actually debate these issues on a stage together, both Republicans and Democrats, to figure out the future.
I love listening to politicians debate emerging technology. It always is so fluent.
It's shockingly frightening when they're making predictions.
Yeah.
And as notable President George W. Bush said, the hardest thing about making predictions about the future is the future.
Well, they can't be 80 years old either.
It doesn't
you can't
make
be 80
sense.
years old and talking about
it's
AI.
a long run.
And the most important thing here, there's no clear right-left divide, at least with respect to
That's
fear
what
about
I was
AI.
Yeah. Right now, I think it's fascinating. I mean, think about the internet as an issue in 1999. The internet was not a defining issue in, I don't believe, the 2000 presidential campaign, 2020, 2002 midterms. I mean, there are other things going on. The internet was transforming society, but it wasn't a political issue. Here, I don't think that AI is going to be a defining issue of the these midterms, but I bet you it will be a defining issue of the 2028 presidential race.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
going to be a great policy debate, if nothing else. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, we can't get fooled again. That's it. Was the other President Bushism that I very much like. All right, coming up.